an interview with the co-founders of Teeps LLC, Business Venture Research, Full Sail University. This is Derek Bertubin, and I was able to interview the two co-founders of Teeps LLC, a small mobile development shop firm in Winter Park, Florida. So without further ado,
Hey, so I am Joshua, and I am co-founder here. And what I do on the average day is I help with sales and operations.
Hey, my name is Terrence, and I'm a co-founder here as well at Teeps, and I'm responsible for CEO and CTO duties.
Awesome, very good. And would one of you like to tell me how you guys met?
Joshua and I were, I was living up in Massachusetts, he was living down in Florida, and we were in two different bands on the same record label as touring musicians. That band that he was in ended up needing a guitar player, and so when I was done in the band I was in leaving that band, I flew down to Florida and joined his.
Okay, so you met, and then obviously you guys, decided to form the company that you founded now. Tell me a little bit about how that came to be.
So it was actually a connection through the music industry that we made, where Terrence was learning how to code, at least code for mobile apps. And we happened to have a mutual friend with a company that needed an app. And so just one thing led to another. We decided to try to say, well, maybe we could build it for them. Had no idea about how to charge them, how to structure the process. We just jumped on Google and tried to figure that out. Terrence made like $2 an hour, basically, is the joke we always make, but it's actually true. And it was a great, amazing learning experience of failure and discovery. But we realized that big, scary process and something we've never done. We just had to try first, and we actually succeeded, I think.
Tell me a little bit more about that overall attitude to just jump in there and do it.
Sure. It wasn't as scary for me as it probably should have been. When you're a touring musician, you're pretty much flying off the seat of your pants every single day. Half the time you're not even sure where your next meal is going to come from because you're just kind of getting enough gas money to go between shows, especially earlier on in bands. And so living that life and then coming over to a life where it's like there's actually more of a possibility to make money in the short term was actually less scary for me. And so I determined that the level of success that I would see was a direct result of the work that I was willing to put in, just like the music industry. And that's one of the things I learned from that.
So tell me, guys, what skill sets or experiences do you attribute your current success with right now?
So for me, persistence would be one, and drive. Those aren't these super technical, have to go to school for 8 years to figure that out. So that's probably the biggest attribute to our success that I think we have.
Yeah, and for me, I would say I kind of equate it all to this whole concept of grit, right? Like it's like the sum of all these different traits that makes a person have grit and makes them, traits like perseverance, ambition, and persistence, and then just passion, right? And so when you mash all those things together, you can get this perfect entrepreneurial archetype that these people are just, and I put myself in this category. When I decide that I want to do something, there's nothing that's going to stop me from doing it. And that thing that I decided that I wanted to learn was mobile app development. And even if I felt like at times I wasn't smart enough to do it, or I it was really hard, or I couldn't grasp some of the concepts, I just kept pushing through and realizing that at the other end of that, I'm going to realize and be able to fulfill another passion of mine.
From each one of you, could you offer some practical pieces of advice for those who are aspiring entrepreneurs?
Yeah, I'll give a couple really quick. I've talked to hundreds of entrepreneurs who they're scared to get the first piece wrong, so they never kind of get beyond that. They don't want to show their product to customers. They don't want to, start their clothing line until they have it all right, and that's the absolute worst thing you could ever do. So it's really get your vision, get your idea out there fast. Be conscious of what if you're providing a service. We fell into this, knowing what you should be charging. Make sure you get what you're worth or close to what you're worth. Don't inhibit yourself from that. And then A couple others is just to be persistent. Keep working hard towards your goals, and those three things, I think you'll be successful.
Yeah, I would say don't be afraid to pump the brakes a little bit if your company starts to see a lot of growth very quickly. What I find is that, if you can slow down a little bit and make some clear-headed decisions, they usually turn out a little bit better than, oh man, these 4 clients are knocking our door down. Let's just sign the deals and not think about what we want in the contracts, what we, how the process we want to follow, like what does this relationship mean? Like, are we doing fixed bid? Are we doing, these are questions for us. Are we doing fixed bid pricing? Are we doing hourly, time and materials? Sometimes when you don't slow down to ask those questions, you end up inhibiting further growth, because if your company gets to a certain size with those processes in place, you end up stagnating and hitting a glass ceiling and not being able to grow until you shed those bad habits.
As we can see, there are many things that we can learn from the co-founders of Teeps. Josh and Terrence were able to use their life experience as touring musicians to overcome the obstacles they face as new entrepreneurs in the mobile development space. Persistence, drive, grit, and passion all make the ideal entrepreneur. Don't be afraid to get your vision out there fast. Don't wait for it to be perfect or everything to come together. Just get it done, and things will come as you start. Get what you're worth. Without doing that, you'll have a hard time to grow. And take your time to grow. Don't be in a rush to make decisions. Often that's where you make mistakes. This was an interview with the co-founders of Teeps LLC, Business Venture Research, 2016.